And here we are once again. Of course, if you're watching live, that means it can only be one thing. It means it's Wednesday at noon Eastern time. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show, a very special edition of the High Noon Hemp Show. If you're watching the video version of the show, you see right there. Of course, you can find us many places, live and video on demand. Of course, the Temptations Beach Facebook page. There I am. The Temptations Beach Facebook page, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and at Temptations on Twitter. Of course, the podcast, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show. You'll find us. I'm Stoner Jesus. He is Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio, at the Hemp Quarters Beach. How are things this week in the world of Temptations?
200 episodes! Woo! I just gave myself a hemp ticker tape parade.
Production budget is massive.
Amazingly enough, 200 episodes of the High Noon Hemp Show. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It's true. I'm Beach. I am high above the Sharonville location. Now I have to pick all this up and recycle it. Whee! It's quite amazing to think about 200 episodes of the High Noon Hemp Show. That's a lot of hemp. Hopefully the video will come over that I made of roughly just 200 various hemp products that we've featured on the show, whether it's construction or whatnot. So hopefully we'll be able to get to that. It'll probably show up at the end of the show.
It just came over. So the news also just came over.
Okay, great. Well, I do want to remind everyone that the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. Before we get to this video, I would like to say to all of the world, no matter what you celebrate, even if you celebrate nothing, happy Hanukkah. Today is actually Yule and the winter solstice. So if you're celebrating the Yule or the winter solstice today, try to slide some hemp in there. I'm not sure how. Go decorate a hemp plant outside, because that's what the pagans used to decorate the trees outside, and they would put things that the birds and what can eat. And they were like ornaments, but they were really treats for the animals as well. That's where the whole if you don't know history of the tree around the holidays comes from. They get full credit for that. Regardless, Merry Christmas if you celebrating Christmas on Sunday, and then Monday you've got Boxing Day. I didn't even see it on my calendar, amazingly enough. I don't know if they canceled Boxing Day after all these years or not. And then Kwanzaa also starts next Monday if you celebrate Kwanzaa. And then, of course, we've got the New Year's, which is a holiday all over the world. Celebrated. It's probably the most universally celebrated holiday in the world, actually, is New Year's Day. I think, they celebrate it in China, even though the Chinese New Year is not until later. So there you have it, folks. No matter what you celebrate, and if you don't celebrate any of those things, that's okay too.
Right.
It's totally okay. It's what was now I'm flaking on the Seinfeld holiday.
Festivus.
Yeah, Festivus. Festivus for the rest of us, I believe is what it was. So, it's kind of brilliant. It's a holiday for those that don't celebrate any of the holidays. And there are plenty of them out there. So that's okay too. So, all right, well, here's a little 2-minute now. Again, 200 episodes. There is probably actually more than 200 total products in this video.
Nice.
So enjoy it. Here's to 200 episodes, 200 plus hemp products, things. there you have it. And now I have. Now I'm gonna continue to do this, and I am going to continue, and I'm going to finish this video with everything we've ever shown on the show. Right now, I'm trying to get it all into one place where I can find it easily, and then I'm just going to keep doing this until we have every hemp product, house, car, food product, everything will be in one video. And so we'll see. But I think that's a good start. I think I'm proud of myself.
Absolutely.
For the follow through that I spent. Now I just need to do it again. It's going to take a while because that's just a tip of the iceberg, tip of the hempberg when it comes to everything that we've shown here on the High Noon Hemp Show. It's true. So let's get right on to the product spotlight. I think mostly if you've watched the show at all, you've seen a lot of these products, but the first one I think is just one personally to get your, through the holidays, little Hemptations tincture, CBD tincture. And so, I think that people taking care of themselves to get through the holidays is, as important as ever with sickness and anxiety and everything that's surrounding us. And so, little calming, little helping with the Hemptations tincture might work. And then, of course, maybe enjoy some good old Delta 9 with some Enjoy syrup. Still a huge seller. We've finally gotten pretty well stocked up on the syrup for a minute or so. But this is actually, again, Delta 9, 420 milligrams of Delta 9, roughly 20 milligrams per spoonful of the syrup. And so really good seller. Once again, 100% legal, extracted the Delta 9 was extracted from Delta 9 or from industrial hemp, and therefore 100% federally legal, state legal, all legal, one way or another. Here comes the cold, possible coldest day. Not the coldest day on record, but maybe top 5 coming, I hear, possibly on Friday or Thursday. So these are kids' hats. Keep the kids' heads warm. These are made for Arctic weather. I'm pretty sure I'll be busting mine out one way or another. That's for sure. Keep my head warm. Because I'm gonna have to go out. So we're gonna get snow here, I believe, and it's just supposed to get like below 0.
Yeah,
which it very rarely does. It gets pretty cold, but we haven't seen below 0 in a while. So we'll see. If you're anywhere where it's cold, get yourself a nice hemp hood lamb. No matter where you are, I'm sure you can find them online. Hopefully, hemp hood lamb hat to keep your head warm, one way or another. And the last one, in case you get some snow, you might get some snow. How about a good old hemp shovel? We just got these in stock. I know I just showed these a couple months ago on the show because we just got these in stock. So every store should have a hemp shovel if you need one to shovel some snow this winter, wherever you are. If you're lucky enough not to have any snow, I don't know if that's lucky, to be honest with you. I like the snow. This snow that we're supposed to get on Friday reminds me of a snow that we got, maybe 20 years ago. But I remember because I was working in the store, it was Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve, literally just like on Friday. And we got like 8-10 inches. I mean, the cars were parked in front of the store at an angle on the snow mounds. I mean, I wish I had pictures, to be honest with you, which is a testament to the people coming and shopping at Hemptations to get their holidays gifts, I guess. But I don't think it's supposed to get that bad this Friday. Maybe 1 to 3 inches, I think I've seen so far. But I don't think that we'll it will hopefully not hinder the procrastination shoppers. We are the procrastination destination for the holidays. I've always touted on the fact that our busiest shopping day is always Christmas Eve. And I totally get it, and we embrace it. So if you're in the high state area, get your procrastination shopping in at Temptations. Not that much time left for Christmas anyway, and you've still got some time for Hanukkah gifts, one way or another. Winter solstice, get in today. I don't know if you give gifts. We really don't give gifts for that, I don't think. So anyway, there you have it from the store. Now, the one from my door, I've been talking a lot about hemp deodorant in the last month or so on the show, and so I wanted to go ahead and show the picture of what I'm currently using. This is the Andalou deodorant. Andalou, I guess it's pronounced possibly. What's really interesting is if you look closely on the label, is that they're using hemp stem cells, and I don't really know what that means as far as science goes. Although I do know that stem cells are supposed to be one of the purer ways. I'm not sure how that really works. I'm going to actually have to do a little research on what stem cell really means. I know that it is a smaller version, I believe, of whatever it was, originally. Or stem cells are really small, I believe. And so that is the current deodorant, and I did just get myself a new I think it's Mitchell's, which is a really good brand of hemp deodorant as well. So there you have it. The one from my door is keeping me from smelling a little bit. But anyway, and again, aluminum free, all the, it's very natural. It's not a sealant more than anything else. It's literally a deodorant, which is really just, meant to deodorize. But anyway, so there you have it, folks, from the product spotlight here on the 200th episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. So this makes this segment the 200th time you've said, "What are you wearing, Beach?"
Of course, full disclosure, some of those shows, we had technical issues on my end, and you had to do them yourself. So sometimes I wasn't there to ask. I'm going to be completely honest with everybody. Maybe it's like 197, 198, something like that. But still, it's close enough for government work, as they say. So yeah, for the 200th time, I asked Beach a very important question. It's really the linchpin, the foundation, if you will, of the entire show. When I ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
And now you'll know. Of course, it is a Kentucky Wildcat Wednesday. As I usually disclaim when my Wildcats are playing, I wear Wildcat blue, and it is a Wildcat Wednesday. So here is a Wildcat outfit for this 200th episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. Up on top there, classic head case, 100% hemp Kentucky. I was lucky enough to get a few of these that actually said "Go Wildcats" on the back. He didn't wholesale them because that was licensing. There was licensing agreements, but he had them in his warehouse, and so mine actually says "Go Wildcats" on the back. Whereas most of the style back in that day at this time didn't actually have that. So it's a limited edition,
indeed,
hat. I would assume. More on limited editions, and my particular limited editions, in the news later, I can tell you that. That's a hemp hoodlam jacket, my favorite, again, it's my Wildcat blue, and it's warm. It's super warm for a jacket. My coats, I'll be busting out my coats later, which are even thicker and warmer, but are definitely coming this week. Underneath that is a Hemptations University Young Maven printed here at Planet Everywhere t-shirt. My pants are a old pair of Just Naturel. Again, these are like I found some clothes that I haven't worn in a long time. And I love Just Naturel's clothes back in the day. If anybody is fortunate enough to have a pair of their shorts, pants, they didn't really do tops too much, a whole lot that I did anyway. But I love their shorts. Their cargo shorts were some of the best. Unfortunately, they don't think they were using the completely right weave, and they didn't last as long as I would have liked them to, one way or another. But Just Naturel, man, they were doing some great stuff with hemp clothing and whatnot back in the day. You look closely there, you can see my Green Springs Technology Hemptations pen in my pocket. Underneath it all, I've got a pair of I Love Bad briefs, and then a pair of Satori Canaleaf socks and my Saucony Jazz sneakers, running shoes. And again, I never fail to mention the fact that the Saucony Jazz line, I'm pretty sure, is a vegan line of shoes. And so if you're into that, if you are a vegan, look into the Saucony Jazz line, or look into Saucony, because I know that they have a vegan line. This is part of the vegan line. I think it's all the Jazz. I'm not positive on that. It's tough to keep everything straight when it comes to the shoes and the whatnots. It is trues, and more for that in the news coming up as well. So there you have it, folks. For the 200th time we ask, what are you wearing, Beach? And for the 198th or so time you actually can see. And so I'm going to put all these together too. So I am going to go back again and put every outfit, which I suppose was something, I could have done for this as well if I really would have done it. And so that is to come too, as a video of 200 what are you wearing beaches in a row in a video.
Awesome.
Let's see how that goes. Yet another project I would like to see done. Hit the interweb with that. Anyway, there you have it, folks. Now you know. What are you wearing, Beach? On a Wildcat Wednesday here on the High Noon Hemp Show. 200th episode. I don't have any more. I really should have made more ticker tape. Hemper tape.
Use it all up.
Because I got hemp scraps whenever I have to ship something out. So I take my hemp paper and I actually, if I have to cut it in half to do the label, I save the half and then I print on the next half, just so everybody knows. But then I have to cut a little bit out on the edges, so that goes into the recycling. So I have a little bit of that. That's what I made my ticker tape out of today for the 200th episode.
Very exciting.
Of the High Noon Hemp Show. Here is a fun releasing, I should say. The Hemp Industries Association has released the Fiber and Herd Supply Chain Map. I didn't really get a chance to check this out as much as I wanted to, but again, go to the HIA Hemp Institutes Association website, and I'm sure that you can figure it out there. You may have to become a member, which I don't think is that much to access it. If it is just out there for everyone to enjoy, that would be great, but it may be for members only. It's hard to say, but I think that it's, as we are looking, people are looking for fiber. Farmers are wanting to grow fiber, and the herd is, again, becoming a huge industry for its construction. Hempcrete, we use a lot of the herd, which is the shiv, the outside bark, so to speak, that breaks up into little pieces. What we make my desk out of. My shelves, if you can see up here, that shelf right there is made out of hemp herd, made into press board. We use it for animal bedding. It is an industry, once again, that most people wouldn't have grown hemp for or not growing hemp for, but there is a huge supply, and I should say a bigger demand as supply is increasing. And this was something that originally, even when we started growing here in the United States, was going in the back of the barn because there was no one here in the United States that was marketing that was really using that. Hemp Creek was still very small, but now that industry has just keeps exponentially growing and growing and growing. As you can see on almost every episode, I've been able to show a hempcrete something or a hemp house of some sort. More and more as we go along, more and more people are doing it, and so this fiber and herd supply chain map is great. This is what we need to connect the farmers to the manufacturers and the processors and things like that to grow that fiber industry. All our clothing should be made out of hemp. Everything that every piece of cotton on the planet should be replaced with hemp. Now, they won't get replaced. The common thing now, and the cotton industry should be happy, is that we're not developing 100% hemp clothing that compares to cotton. We're still blending it with cotton, which, I'd love to. And eventually we're going to have the weaves. The longer that we go and the more we realize that we should be wearing 100% hemp t-shirts, so it would last you longer. It didn't require any chemicals to be grown. The amount of water to make it will be less. And those are just all things that are like no-brainers to me. And, I talk about it a lot, but I just can't, it's like I still can't believe that for every cotton t-shirt, there's not a hemp t-shirt on the shelves. And that's why I always love Young Maven. And again, their goal, and they started, I don't know, he probably started in the year. Now I know they started the company, I believe, around 1995, same as us, but I feel like he started a movement, which was, everyone in a hemp t-shirt by a certain year, and probably when he started, it was like everyone in a hemp t-shirt by 2010, and then everyone in a hemp t-shirt by 2017. Now we're maybe, everyone in a hemp t-shirt by 2030. Let's do it. The movement should be real. And so should the hemp. There's some controversy out there, depending on, what form the hemp was in, whether it was really hemp or not. And I have seen fiber products come in where I was like, this is not hemp fiber. This is, I don't know why they're calling this hemp. So, but now that we're setting up these manufacturing plants, these processing plants, these, domestically here in the United States, it's really going to help move that forward as industrial hemp moves that direction. One of the articles that I saw, and I've been saying this for years, is the CBD industrial boom has happened, but the fiber boom, that hasn't happened yet in the United States. The grain boom has not happened in the United States yet. And so, those are just a small percentage of the industrial hemp being grown in the United States. But every year it's becoming more as CBD is balancing itself out, and that's getting itself worked out as an industry. We are seeing more and more people growing for fiber and growing for grain, food product, or oil, no matter what kind of oil. Food, human oil or machine oil, and doesn't matter. It's it can be used for both. Good for the human body and good for the engine, I suppose. I don't know how efficient it is. Diesel, there's a diesel engine right now that you can basically pour hemp seed oil into and go about your merry way. So, it's possible. And as I've said on the show many times, the original diesel fuels were meant to be bio. They were corn and other natural substances, not petrochemically based. That was basically stolen from the original diesel idea, which is just crazy, but is what it is and has been what it was. If we could switch it all back to biodiesel, what a better place it would be. I think the shift now would be great to shift all the diesel trucks to electric and get rid of those emissions, just period. Anyway, that's a subject for another day and probably another show, because this is the High Noon Hemp Show. But we are all about trying to save this planet of ours, or at least I'm not, even if it's not trying to save the planet, it's just that humans should have clean air, humans should have clean water, humans should have clean food. It's just something that, and there is no perfect. I'm just trying to help it along to get us there by promoting probably the greatest solution to finding all of those things on the planet and not really having to do much. Just plant a different seed. It's really, it's pretty simple. So anyway, coffee trends of 2023. Number 2 is coffee and CBD. Who didn't see that coming, of course. But what I also saw on the list was protein coffee. And so I think this is somewhere where, and again, hemp oil is fat soluble, so it's harder to infuse with water because it wants to separate. But that doesn't mean like a fancy layer of hemp oil that you would still drink on top of the coffee, or even if it does separate a little bit, you would still be able to drink it. But we'll see if they're not adding hemp oil or hemp seeds somehow, to coffee. Because we've done that. In fact, that's what I used to do. I don't even know what I'm talking about, because it was just as easy as I would take whole hemp seed and I would just put a little bit in with my coffee grinder, and I would grind my coffee beans with whole hemp seed, and there you have it. Now, I don't know if you're getting nutritional value out of that. Once you do that, if that's if the nutrients from the hemp seed is infusing into the coffee, and then because of the heat of the water, possibly, and then making it into the cup, what it did is it made my coffee less strong, added a little bit of a nutty flavor to it. But there's something that you haven't seen in the coffee world. But how about that? If they're really doing protein, and the question is would that protein from the hemp seed then be into the coffee if you ground your whole seed in with your coffee and then brewed it? More science I'd like to know about hemp. Come on, coffee people. There's enough of you in the world. We have to figure it out. I don't know how to test that type of stuff. But that's how we made it. That's how I made my hemp seed coffee back in the day. We do instant coffee now. And hopefully I'll find some hemp instant coffee sometime soon. Who knows? Yeah. Well, Dolly Parton was the latest to be hit by the CBD gummy scammers. If you don't know, I usually report on some famous person whose identity has been used on the internet to sell. We don't know if they're real or fake CBD gummies, to be honest with you. I feel like they would almost have to be fake just because they're using everyone's fake names. But I guess they're not. I don't understand how they're still getting away with it. They've been fined or Clint Eastwood has won. A couple people have won huge amounts of money from them doing this. And so I feel like they have to know who it is to sue them, but they're still doing it somehow. And again, Dolly Parton was the most recent, I guess, or one of the most recent when it comes to the CBD scam, gummy scam. So, as always, folks, do some research. Go into your local hemp store, maybe someone you can talk to. But if you're online, find a company that's been out there for a while and been doing it for a while. Anyway, it hasn't been in trouble with the FDA or anybody else for not doing what they say they're doing, as far as putting what they say the CBD amount should be in their products. So, Tennessee State University is getting $5 million grant for hemp research and to support historically underserved farmers. And I'm not sure what that means, but to grow for fiber. So, and maybe they're just saying, and I think, and if I saw correctly, for the fiber, you may have to have so many acres of land available to get this funding, this grant money. But once again, specifically going to grow for fiber. And I think, again, that's where we're seeing a lot of. There are companies right now that are ready to say, hey, you grow this amount of fiber, we'll pay you this amount because we need it. And I think, again, more and more research, including the government, who was looking, is now talking about bringing hemp back into the military world. As far as, I reported on the ghillie outfit, which is something that, basically a soldier goes out in and it makes him look like nature. Okay. They are studying or want to use hemp for that because it's antimicrobial, antibacterial, all of these things as a fiber that would keep your soldier healthy. Obviously would keep the human healthy or healthier. My genes are superior because they're antimicrobial, they're antibacterial, because they're 100% hemp. But military outfits, the parachute, the famous story of the parachute that probably saved George Bush Jr.'s life, or George Bush Sr.'s life in World War II, would have been made out of hemp, possibly in Lexington, Kentucky. But the military and the naval, everything in the Navy, every rope in the Navy was hemp up until a certain point. And again, I think until I feel now, if it's not a synthetic rope on a Navy vessel, it's probably made out of hemp. So versatile. And so I think it's, I think that's one reason why the government, but I think that, we're going to find more and more that everything we've said about hemp as a fiber is true and is, 4 times superior to the most used fiber on the planet, which is cotton. It is said to be the strongest natural fiber on the planet. Okay. I understand the need for synthetic cordage, I suppose, and the only real problem I have with synthetic cordage is the synthetic waste that it takes to make the synthetic cordage. You can't argue the strength, the synthetic cordage to natural cordage. There's as little comparison as you can make because it's that much. And so, I understand the need for it. But that's in, the most essential places, I feel. I'm thinking everywhere else, let's just go back to using hemp rope. And if that's not strong enough for the job, then resort to a synthetic cordage Um, but I think that, hemp is known to be pretty strong. We can get quite a poundage out of it as a rope or a twine. And so, and that's how much weight it can hold. If you have to get the poundage of a cord, it's basically its breaking point. How much weight will it hold until it'll break? A 10-pound twine will hold 10-pound weight, or it should. Up and up and up. And so, anyway, Tennessee farmers, if you're growing hemp or you want to grow hemp in Tennessee, find out about that. Try to get in on that $5 million. That's all I can say. Again, good for Tennessee. They have really embraced hemp growing in Tennessee and are continuing to move forward. I can't believe that Kentucky, somewhere in Kentucky hasn't gotten a grant, some big money to do the same thing. So, how about this new blazer? Now, I know I have shown a blazer from Nike, but this is a new combination. And you can clearly see where the hemp is on the toe and right on the side there. And I believe, if I read correctly, and this is something that they must have like 100 billion hemp tongues for shoes, because they're also using the hemp on the tongue of the shoe, which I've been seeing a lot with where they're placing hemp. Now, remember when looking for, they tend to nickname some of the Nike's hemp because of the color, but these are actually hemp material. Okay. Now, I know I had said more on, and I believe, if I haven't, I'm going to make it, sometime soon. I feel like I did this. I wore my orange Nikes possibly last year when the Bengals were making a run at the Super Bowl or Super Bowl week. And I will definitely get them back on soon enough for the show, because as I was searching because there's another hemp Nike that's getting released out there, and I just Googled hemp Nike, but a pair for sale of what they call the ramen Nike, because the color combination is based on the ramen package. A college student won a contest and designed these shoes, and they are hemp. Parts of them are hemp. You can clearly see when you look at a pair where the hemp is. Recently seen for sale for over $3,300.
Wow.
I spent a decent amount on mine. I don't know how long ago I actually was lucky enough to find those on eBay. But a pair was recently spotted for sale for $3,000, which is just crazy. And again, also why you can't buy limited edition Nikes when they're released, because every collector, they're like buying stocks to a lot of people. And so they figure out how to get to them before you do. I just want to buy them to wear them, show them off. Most people want to buy them to put on a shelf, and then 10 years later try to see if they can get a crazy amount of money for them.
Yeah.
But, that is what the shoe market is. That's the fashion part of gym shoes, if you can believe it. And, we have one of the greatest athletes of all time to thank for that, and that is Michael Jordan. Because his shoes were some of the first to hold value and then be worth a crazy amount of money later. And Nike learned a lot from that, unfortunately. Not for the right reasons. It's true. But Nike is using hemp just about more than just about anybody else these days, whether it's a marketing scam or not. So there's that. 6 best plant-based protein sources. Of course, hemp is number 2. And what I really found interesting about hemp being number 2 on this list is it was behind soy. And you look at, okay, so there's 8 grams of protein in 3 ounces of soy. There's 9 grams of protein in 3 tablespoons of hemp. I don't understand how soy can be number 1. And what's really interesting is this person, and I can totally see it because, soy has been promoting itself for the last 30 years as, the best plant-based protein out there. And so people are really like, even though hemp was number 2, and they clearly shows that hemp is superior to soy as far as protein content, it was still, they were still, promoting the soy and the tofu and whatnot. But again, I think it's because there's so many more soy-based products. And again, I think that we need to do a little bit more research on how we digest soy and whether we really get what we need to get out of it. And, I usually don't badmouth the competition, but I'm not badmouthing the soy industry when I just give you the facts, which is 90% of the soy industry is controlled by one company. Okay, if you're not eating organic soy products, you are getting your soy from one company. Natural? Nope. I'm not saying that I'm against genetically altering things. We've been genetically modifying foods through breeding from the history of becoming agrarians on this planet. I don't know if I don't necessarily have a problem with the science as much as I have the control of the science. I guess that's really my issue with the whole thing, is the fact that, farmers should not be so beholden. That's a monopoly. We're not supposed to have those in this country. If a farmer can only go to one company for the most part, and of course they'll say they're not a monopoly because there are other places to go to get soy seed. They're just not as prevalent as the one, which is very common. But that is what it is as well, and that's the industry. That particular company destroyed or helped destroy farming in the United States in the 80s. And it will take hemp as a big motivator, I think, to try to restore farming. And corporate farming, I don't know that we will always be beholden to corporate farming. And so, I don't care how big or small your farm is. Farmer sitting out on his tractor, if he's beholden to certain corporations, that's corporate farming. And it destroyed really the true farming industry in the United States. And we're slowly recovering, but it's taken 30 years to promote organic farming. Getting hemp back is a huge step, I think, because you're not going to be beholden to anyone in particular, and you don't have to worry about the chemical companies, because if you're growing for fiber or you're growing for grain, there's no herbicide or pesticides needed. It would be overkill. And they don't like that. The herbicide and pesticide industries sure don't like that. That's the same company. The same company that sells the soy farmer the soy seed sells the soy farmer the soy chemicals, or the soy safe chemicals, kills everything else. Anyway, so hemp is the solution for any vegan, vegetarian, um, as far as plant-based protein. Weightlifters, all that. To be honest with you, it's the solution. And we're seeing more and more of that. We're seeing more and more again. Very little hemp foods on the shelves right now. There are every grocery store has them. I've been finding them, tucked here and there. A lot have come and gone. But as grain production goes up here, we're going to see food companies start putting hemp in their foods because it's healthy. It's good for their customers. Pure and simple. So there's a huge demand for organic hemp seed, and there's a larger demand for just regular hemp seed. As more and more humans are educated on the nutritional value of this food, and what it could replace on the shelves as well. We've had everything from vegan hemp Parma cheese, hemp waffles. I mean, there's really an endless amount hemp chips of hemp foods that I have seen and that are out there. The hemp burger, is soon to be in every grocery store. I feel that it's maybe a year or two out. Kroger's, I know I reported on it. Kroger's is out there saying, hey, we're adding this particular plant-based hemp burger in a certain market, 700 stores, and that's probably a fifth of their entire locations. But hopefully, that people will buy them up and show them that we want this. I need to look better at my local Kroger's just to see what plant-based burgers they've got on the shelves these days to support that. And again, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. I want to make that perfectly clear. I eat meat, but I do agree with and support the vegetarian movement and the vegan movement. And when I can supplement, I do. We don't eat a whole lot of hamburger still. I'd say chicken is probably the one thing that we eat the most. But I think the idea is great, and I think the idea of, because red meat is not healthy for humans in semi-large, even there's obviously everything and nothing in moderation, but when you want to compare it, and again, like I said, to get carnivores to eat vegetarian, vegan foods, they have to taste just like, they have to have the same feel as what they're getting. And, that's where the movement's going. And I've been saying that for a long time. And, finally, I think the burger movement's really figuring that out, and, going the right direction when it comes to providing a vegan or a vegetarian alternative to meat, one way or another. Oh, this is fun. This is called The Routes of Regeneration. And it's artwork that's part of the University of New South Wales landscape and design projects. Now, what they've got here, if you look, at the top there in the third over, they talk about hemp as a remediator. And what that means is phytoremediator. What that means is hemp it does a great job of pulling the bad stuff out of the soil. And so, once again, we're seeing more and more soil cleanup sites Even a lake in Chicago is they're trying to clean the lake, and in doing so, what they're planting industrial hemp along the distributaries that feed into the lake. They're literally going to filter that stream water, river water, and they're going to clean that soil all around there to keep it from ever making it into the lake. That's one of the programs out there using industrial hemp as a phyto remediator. And then the bottom picture is showing an example of what we call retting. Hemp kind of lost out to cotton for a couple reasons back in the day. One, making it illegal, but two, because it was so labor intensive to break to get to the fiber. Now, again, thousands of years of fiber use, but it was in such demand and being grown so much that, and eventually there was a machine called a decortator, a big tractor company had made, but it just a little too late, and then all of a sudden hemp was made illegal, and we couldn't even grow it here to begin with. But what they would do in the past was retting in the field was just stacking the hemp up and letting it go through the winter and the spring. And then when they were getting ready to plant in the spring, they would break the hemp in the fields with these big wood machines that were just wood planks offset, and you'd lay the hemp down and you just smash this thing down, and the offset wood planks would break it. Another form is water retting. So they would take the hemp and go lay it in the local stream, where it wouldn't go off, but yet stay in the water. And this would break down the stalk quicker, water retting. And that's what they're showing an example of here is water retting the hemp to break the stalk to get to the fiber. Okay, because it is so well put together, it is so strong, that it is kind of labor intensive. Of course, I've always said it, and we're seeing it on a huge, large scales. Once it was made legal again here in the United States, the machinery that we would see would be 21st century machinery, based on 100, 200-year-old machinery. 100-year-old machinery at this point, the decortator, which we're seeing modern ones where, basically they can put the hemp in the front of the machine, and it runs it like a zigzag. And then as it runs that zigzag back and forth, breaks the stalk, that drops off and goes into a pile. The fiber kind of keeps going, and then as it's super cleaned of any of that debris, then the fiber is collected, and then other things are collected like lignin in powder form, which is a big part of the hemp stalk, and then breaks it down into everything that's on it. At this point, these machines can take industrial hemp and put it in every form you may or may not want it, from the herd, sieve, for the hempcrete bedding, whatever, to the fiber, to the CBD oil, or the oil at that point, I think. Who knows? These modern machines are going to, and of course the seed, you take that whole thing in there, so it's going to drop the seed to a certain point, so you collect the seed as well. Truly make hemp farming or hemp processing exponentially more efficient. And then once again, we're at that place now where it's like supply and demand are kind of working their way out, and the machinery is the same. So farming and processing machinery and things, a little more farming, a little more machinery, a little more machinery, a little more farming. It's kind of where we are right now, because once again, we have not seen, as I mentioned earlier, as someone had mentioned online, and it's true, we haven't seen that fiber boom yet. We haven't seen that grain boom yet, and we haven't seen that we're still states are still building machinery. Companies are still just now building, getting into multiple states in the country. Basically, kind of started out Midwest or Colorado, wherever that region is, for a lot of stuff. And now we're seeing East Coast machinery. Indiana's got one big company, if not two now, processing industrial hemp. And so, and that's because we're growing a lot of industrial hemp in the Midwest. Kentucky embraced it. Tennessee's embracing it. North Carolina's embracing it, even though they just had a weird issue, but they're embracing the industrial hemp farming. So, Ohio, it's tough because we got just ridiculous licensing and stipulations and all that. So a lot of people are staying away from growing in Ohio. But hopefully we'll lighten up on those. As Pennsylvania's growing more, West Virginia's growing more now. Michigan isn't growing as much industrial hemp because they're very cannabis, medicinal, recreational wise up there. And so, if you were going to grow cannabis in Michigan, I think you would grow that because that's, where all the money is. Indiana is starting, or I already mentioned Indiana. Illinois is starting to get a bludgeoning little industrial hemp farming going. So, and it's kind of, some of those other states like Kansas, where it would be perfect to grow, they're slow to it because of moral reasons. But it is, industrial hemp is legal, I believe, in Kansas. I don't know how much they're embracing it, but again, that's just perfect for vast fields of industrial hemp. So it's pretty cool, though. This was part of a design project winner top 10 that they released, and hopefully that they're going forward with Australia in itself is just the country itself just legalized industrial hemp not too long ago. But it was very, I don't know how Australia really works, state friendly in certain places for a very long time for industrial purposes. But they are now really, I think, embracing with the construction. I think that they're a country that really should embrace the food aspect of industrial hemp, because if they have, it's not the most agriculturally designed place on the planet. Most of Australia is barren, and not easily used for agriculture. But if they can, figure out how to grow more and more hemp for a food product, that's, to me, essential. So, who knows? All right, well, let's put this recipe for no-bake salted maple apple energy balls, because that just sounds fun. There's quite a bit of, you see quite a bit of hemp no-bake recipes for granola bars, things like that. We have on occasion had no-bake, add your no-bake hemp mix, so to speak, here in the store. But these just sound, super delicious, for one thing. I'm a big fan of salted maple and apples. I believe. I suppose that throw some caramel in there somehow, then they'd really be doing something. I don't know how you would do that, but some caramelized sugar, because I just recently found out that, of course, to make caramel, really all you do is you heat it up, heat sugar up, and that's it. But you can bake sugar to get the same caramel, however you want to pronounce it, caramelized taste, and it still remains in sugar form. So I bet these have a little bit of sugar. Who knows? It's right there's the recipe, Beach. You can probably sweeten them with whatever you really wanted to sweeten them with. But the maple would be the sweetener. Anyway, there you have it. There's good enough time there to screen shoot that. Been trying to put some more recipes out there. Encourage using hemp in your diet. You know, I've always said you don't want to be on a diet, you just want to have a good diet. And hemp is a big, big part of that for anyone that wants to have a good diet, not be on a diet. You know, of course, 5 years from now, the hemp seed diet is going to be the one to be on. You're going to see it everywhere. Once the big companies get control of the hemp seeds, the reason that they won't do that is because, you can get hemp seed anywhere.
Yeah.
So, but the hemp seed diet is, it's not about beyond, no doubt about it. Well, again, everyone, happy holidays. Thanks for watching the 200th episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See y'all next week.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.